guys, I hope you're all doing well. If you are new here, don't forget to hit subscribe, and whether you're new or returning, hit the little bell just so you get a notification when I upload, because I know that YouTube is missing a lot of content at the moment for people. So you might be bored of seeing the Paris content by now, but this is actually the last of the 3-part series that I thought I would do about Disneyland and Paris and that kind of thing. So I actually already uploaded my Disneyland and Paris vlog and also my Paris lookbook so you can see what I wore, but I thought that I would do a video kind of talking you through how we managed to fit Paris in 3 days and how the whole trip cost us only around £350 each, including our Eurostar and our hotels. So I think I'm just going to talk you through kind of beginning to end, because that's the easiest way to do this. I'm going to put pictures on the screen, like Polaroids and stuff that we took and all that kind of stuff, just so you can get a visual of what I'm talking about. But if you didn't already know, I have actually been to Paris 4 times now. So the first time I went was actually a university trip, so it was very much about sightseeing, very fashion design, because that's what I did at uni, so we had to go to a lot of fashion places. That is a vlog of that. The second time was actually when I just got with Adrian, so me and him actually became boyfriend and girlfriend in Paris. That was a very much kind of trying to be like a local, so we kind of did things the original Paris way and went around with our friends that live in Paris, so that we got a kind of more local experience than tourist. The third time we went was with our friends Harry and Keely, and we kind of did a more chilled out, just being friends, wandering around, like not really too busy or anything. We kind of just chilled. There's also a Paris Moments video of that because we went over New Year, and then this time obviously was this time. So yeah, we actually managed to find a deal on lastminute.com. This isn't sponsored, it's just literally that I found the deal on there. The deal was for £169 each, and it was basically the Eurostar and 2 nights in a 4-star hotel, which was the Mercure Hotel in Montparnasse, which is a really nice area actually and really easy to get around from, so perfect location. And the deal gave us the Eurostar times of being, I think we left at like 5:10 in the morning on the Friday, and we got to Paris at about 9, half 9, and then on the way back we left Paris on the 9 o'clock Eurostar in the evening and got back to London about 10:30. So really good timing, because we actually managed to get 3 entire full days. So yeah, really good deal. Definitely recommend checking out lastminute.com for that, because their flash deals section is where I'm booking a lot of trips at the moment, and where I'm thinking to look a lot more, because they have really great deals for like all kinds of places, and also they have, alongside the flash deals, they have like other deals, so you could go to Paris but you could choose a different hotel or whatever. But yeah, really not expensive. So first day in Paris, we actually kind of headed straight out. So we dumped our bags at the hotel. We couldn't check in yet, but we kind of put our stuff there just so that it was out the way, didn't have to lug around suitcases. And we headed over first to Hotel de Ville, which is where the Notre Dame is, and we kind of walked along a different route. So we went kind of down the river next to it and then in through the right hand side, so that we got a different kind of view of the Notre Dame, which I'll show you now. Really good idea to do that, because although that bridge is really busy and a lot of people walk over, if you kind of keep walking down the river and stuff, there's a lot less people and you can get better shots of the Notre Dame. But obviously if you want to get the typical tourist picture, you can go in front. I've actually been inside on a previous trip with university, but I actually found that this one was kind of a different experience, because we just kind of saw it from the outside and had a little mooch around, and we ended up going over to the city hall opposite, going on the carousel. Really fun kind of little trip to there. And then after Notre Dame, we actually ended up kind of heading around that area, just wandering around a little bit, seeing some shops. We actually got some smoothies, met up with one of our friends that lives in Paris, and we decided to walk back to our hotel, which was about a 45 minute to an hour walk, but we didn't get very far because my friend Hayley's ankle was really sore, so we just hopped on the metro and went back to the hotel. I want to say around 2 o'clock. I'm not sure how it ended up being so late in the day, because I feel like we didn't really do a lot in the first part of the day, but we did kind of wander around a lot and just look at different sites around. We headed back and napped, and then at about 6 o'clock we actually woke up and went back out. So we headed over to the Eiffel Tower because we wanted to see it at sunset. It's really beautiful at night, and Hayley's never been there before, so we wanted to show her kind of sunset into the evening. So we actually stopped, and the guys got hot dogs and I got a crepe just outside of the Eiffel Tower. We took some pictures over at the Trocadero, which is the one I just put on Instagram, which is here. Really gorgeous pictures, and we just kind of enjoyed the view. We just mooched around a little bit. The sun was starting to go down, so it wasn't too hot, so it was getting to a good temperature. And then we actually decided to go up the Eiffel Tower, which is around £20, I think. I can't remember exactly how much we paid, but around £20 to go to the very top. And because we went kind of as the sun was going down, it was a really beautiful time, because the sky was like a really nice navy blue. It wasn't quite dark yet, but the lights were on. It was just really pretty. And then we headed all the way up to the top and back down again, just in time to catch the lights twinkling. So we actually watched them twinkle from outside. So that was our first night. We actually ended up getting back to our hotel really late. I think we got back at like maybe 11, 12 o'clock. And then Disneyland was the next day, which is what I really wanted to talk about because I did a lot of research before we went, kind of deciding whether we should do one park or two, because a lot of people I know that have been to Disney have said that one park is really easy to do, but you can get a bit bored, so it's better to do two parks and maybe do a little less rides. So I was honestly Googling for hours, finding the cheapest tickets, finding like legit tickets, finding out whether we'd be able to do two parks or not, which rides are in which parks, all that kind of stuff. And we ended up settling for the 1 day 2 park ticket, which basically means that you can go in Disneyland and Walt Disney Studios, which are the 2 parks in Paris, and they're literally like not even a 2-minute walk from each other, so really easy to get between the two. The ticket cost us, I believe, £70 each for the 1 day 2 parks ticket on Attraction Tickets Direct, which was £10 cheaper than the Disney website, which I thought was a really good deal, because if I can save £10 then obviously I'm going to do so, and a few people had recommended that one to me, so I'm going to recommend it further. But Attractions Tickets Direct is a really good one to go to. They also give you a couple of vouchers for discounts on Earl's sandwiches and Planet Hollywood, so if you wanted to get discounted food then that's there. They're both over in the Disney Village though, so they're not actually in a park. So we actually got the train into Disney at I think about 8-9 o'clock in the morning, so we could get there just before it opened, because we kind of wanted to be there and just walk straight in and then be able to go straight on the rides we wanted to go on. So when we walked in, we headed straight to the Tower of Terror, which is the ride that I really wanted to go on. Didn't bother getting a fast track because the queue was only like 35 minutes, so we thought we'll just grin and bear it and wait because it's not a big queue. So we got on that straight away, absolutely loved it. I remember doing the other one in Orlando when I was younger, and I feel like it was, if not the same scary, way more scary this time round, because in Orlando you get one big bar that comes down over you, and in Paris you just get a seatbelt and then you hold on to the side. Really good ride. Definitely worth doing first if you get to the park, because I think that's probably the one ride where the time just kept getting longer and longer and longer throughout the day. After that we actually ended up getting a fast track for the Rock and Roller Coaster, which was also getting quite a big queue, and I think our fast track gave us like an hour to wait, which wasn't too bad, because we ended up heading over to, I can't remember what it was called, but it was a burger place and it literally looks like a little Airstream just next to the Rock and Roller Coaster, so really quick to get to. These two both got burgers. I just got a fruit salad and nibbled chips off their plates because I wasn't that hungry at this point. And the burgers were about €10 each with a huge portion of chips, and both of them were double patty, even the chicken one. So really good portions, and definitely filled them up for the day. We stopped and had lunch there, then we headed over to the Rock and Roller Coaster. The Rock and Roller Coaster is probably one of my favourite rides alongside the Tower of Terror. They were the two that we really desperately wanted to get on, so we made sure that we did those first and foremost. And then after the Rock and Roller Coaster we went on our final ride at that park for that time, which was the Armageddon like experience thing, which I actually thought was a Studio Tours, which I found out after it wasn't, and I don't rate it. I thought it was a bit crap, to be honest. It basically, you go in a room and you watch like a simulation of Armageddon the movie, and then you go into a little like simulation room and it's like you're in the spacecraft, and then fire blows, and it just was a bit rubbish. A lot of the rides in that park I don't personally rate. I don't think there's many that I would maybe go on. It's a lot more aimed at like young children, obviously, because it's Disney. The only one that I'm annoyed that we didn't get on is the RC race car one, which is kind of like a banana boat style thing, but it's a race car that goes backwards and forwards. Looked really cool. Didn't get to go on that because the queue was too long. But we actually did do Ratatouille as well later in the day, so we got a fast track that let us go in at about 6:30, but I'll get to that in a minute. So after we did that, we headed over to the other park. I think we headed over about 1 o'clock maybe. Went straight into Disneyland. We took some pictures, saw the castle, took some videos and stuff. Basically everything that you've seen on Instagram we did as soon as we got into that park, because we just wanted to get it over and done with, get it out of the way so that we looked nice and the sun was there and it was fresh and whatever. In that park we went straight over to, I can't remember what the name of it is, but like the spacey section, so it's just to the right of the castle when you walk in. That's basically where the Buzz Lightyear laser thing is, it's where Space Mountain is, it's where Darth Vader meet is, all that kind of stuff. So we went straight to Space Mountain, which again was a 30-minute wait. Absolutely loved it. It's Star Wars themed. Me and Hayley were sat at the very front, so we could like see straight as we were going. Really loved it, really cool. Then we tried to find the Darth Vader meet and greet and couldn't actually find it, so we didn't go, which is really annoying because we didn't meet any characters. But definitely recommend the space one. We did try and get on the Buzz Lightyear laser thing, but the queue was also really long, so we didn't get a chance to do that. I kind of wish we did because it looked really cool. Then we just had a bit of a mooch around. We headed over to go on It's a Small World, which is one of my favourite childhood rides from when I was younger. We considered meeting some princesses, but again it was like an 1.5 hour wait, so it wasn't really worth it to kind of just go and stand and talk to the princesses, even though Adrian really wanted to do it. I got some pasta in a little pizzeria place next to that. Then we kind of got into position for the show at 5. I feel like, as I'm talking about this, I feel like we didn't do much in time frames, but it's because it was so busy, and also we were just too busy running around enjoying ourselves and like just like looking at stuff and taking pictures and just running around basically. But yeah, we got into position for the show at 5. I'd say at about 4:30 so that we could get at the front. We managed to get in a really good position, so we were right in front of the castle, well, like to the side of the castle but at the front, and we got the parade just as it came around the corner, so it was really nice and open and free. Amazing parade. I literally loved it so much. I do wish they'd had more characters in it. I did really like it. I just missed the fact there was like no Moana, there was no like Ariel or anything in the parade. It was just like, yeah, Moana was in the Princess and Pirates one, and so was Ariel, and they weren't in the final one, but the big parade was literally so good. I loved it. That lasted like, I'd say about half an hour. After that, we were advised by a girl that worked in the gift shop where we bought our ears that we should head back over to studios, because basically after the parade everyone kind of stays in that park. So we were like, right, okay, cool, we'll take your advice, we'll go back over to studios, see what we can get done there. So we did that, went back into the studios and went on Ratatouille, which is amazing. I loved Ratatouille so much. It's literally the best ride ever. It's not even really a ride, but you basically are, it's as if you're a little mouse going through, and you like are just going through the restaurant and stuff, and it's kind of 4D, so you get 3D glasses, but there's like wind blowing at you and like the carriage moves and stuff, and it's really cool. Definitely recommend that one again. That's one that I was recommended highly to do, so passing on the recommendation. Then after Ratatouille we headed back into the Disneyland park. We were going to go on Buzz Lightyear and we were going to go on Thunder Mountain, but honestly the ride queues were just ridiculous, so we didn't really get on that many rides. I think in total we did about 5 or 6, but they were the ones we wanted to do and we still had an amazing time. We got burgers in, I can't remember what the name of it is, I think it's like Casey's, which is just on the corner by the castle. Really good hot dogs. Did I say burgers then? I meant hot dogs. We got hot dogs. And then we got into position for fireworks. We sat down like an hour and a half before they started, but we managed to get right to the front, directly in front of the castle, so we had an amazing view. Was quite uncomfortable sitting on the floor for an hour and a half, but it was really worth it because the light show is amazing. And it was sponsored by Pandora, which you guys know I am a Pandora ambassador. I do have a Disney Pandora bracelet on right now alongside a couple of others. It's got a little mini on it. It's very cute. But yeah, really amazing show. I loved the fact it had Lion King in it. Do wish there was a bit more Disney, because I know that Star Wars and Pirates of the Caribbean are technically Disney, but I think it should have been more like original characters, because I think it was just like Ariel and Lion King and stuff. But either way, it was a really amazing show. Absolutely loved it. Really good show, and it kind of gave us all the feels. We all loved it. We all thought it was beautiful. Sat with our popcorn and our little bottles of Coke and whatever, really nice. And then I think we ended up getting out of the park because the fireworks are at 10. I think we ended up getting out of the park at around 11:30. Next morning we got up at 10, so this is now our last day. We got up about 10 o'clock and we wanted to kind of have Sunday like a Parisian, so we decided to mooch over to a coffee shop nice and early and just chill out, have a coffee. We thought about getting food, but our French is limited. Like, I can speak French and I'm quite good at it, but I need to be around it for long enough. So we had a bit of an issue because the woman couldn't speak English that was serving us in the coffee shop, and we felt really bad trying to make her speak English. So we were trying to speak French, it just wasn't really working. So we just had our coffee and then headed out. We were going to get croissants, ended up not doing so. I can't remember what we ate in the end. I think we just stopped off a bit later and got sandwiches. But we headed over to Pigalle, which is one of my favourite parts of Paris. In the vlog I did actually refer to it as like the French Shoreditch, and it definitely is. It's so cool. Where the Moulin Rouge is, it's kind of like a sex capital. There's just a billion and one sex shops down the main street. Really cool bars and stuff as well if you wanted to go to those, but I absolutely love it there. It's literally amazing. From Pigalle we walked kind of up back roads and we saw the photo booth, which I loved, which is kind of like quite far out of Pigalle but not really. And then we headed up to the Sacre-Coeur, which is a really beautiful building that you have to go to if you go there. Really worth seeing from the top and looking at the view, because it kind of sits quite high up a mountain or a hill or whatever you want to call it. So when you look out, the views over Paris are just really beautiful. So we did that. Then we headed over to the market, which I can't remember what the market is called. I'll put the name on the screen, but it's basically like a really famous artists market. So everyone in the square, because it's in a square, is basically an artist selling work or painting people. So some of them are sat and they're just like drawing away, and then they're selling the work that they've done, and it could be like shots of Paris, it could be kind of anything, like all different things. Some of them are doing like silhouette stuff, so it's like where you're from the side and they draw your silhouette, and there's a lot of them that actually do caricatures or like portraits. So I found one that had a really cool style. He was an amazing man, he was so sweet, and it was 40 euros to get an A3 sized drawing of me, and it's very like penciled and very like scribbly and very kind of artistic, so it doesn't necessarily look like me at a first glance, but I really liked it. I thought it was really, really cool. I'll put the picture that I've got on the screen, or the little vlog clips, because I don't want to unroll the whole picture. I'm trying to wait till I've got a frame, but it's really, really nice, and yeah, really, really inexpensive. I thought it'd be like 100 euros or something. Absolutely love that part of town. And then from there we headed back over to Saint-Germain, which is kind of closer to our hotel, because we really wanted to show Hayley that neighbourhood. It's a really cool neighbourhood, very much where the Instagrammers go, because it's kind of like a Kensington style area. It's where all the coffee shops are that everyone takes pictures outside of. I've taken pictures outside of coffee shops there. There's one called Café de Flore that every single person goes to when they go to Paris, but we actually headed to one across the road called Café Louise, which is exactly the same. It looks the same, but it's a lot less busy, so really worth thinking about that one. And we also saw this weird like roller skating thing. I don't really know what it was, but it was like a stupid amount of roller skaters going down the road, and they were just doing something. But yeah, that was basically the extent of what we did that day. And then we headed back to the Eurostar in Gare du Nord, got a Burger King, because why not? We were getting on a train and we were starving and we didn't want to look for food. Got back to London at about 10:30. I feel like as I'm saying it, we didn't do that much, but actually we did bloomin' loads, and I'm actually really chuffed with how much we managed to get done, bearing in mind it was boiling hot. And yeah, we just got a lot done in 3 days on exhaustion, and I'm really glad that we saw Disneyland and did it all for quite a reasonable price. I honestly don't think when we were there that any of us spent more. I think between me and Adrian, we maybe spent like 200 or 300 euros, if so, like give or take. Wasn't that much at all. We were really, really savvy with our money, but definitely worth it, definitely recommend. But I just thought I'd make this video to kind of give you a bit of a backstory. The vlogs weren't really that explanatory about where we were or what we were doing or anything like that, so I thought, why not just sit down and film a video where I literally give you like times and places and that kind of thing, so you can kind of understand how we did Paris, because I know there's a lot more tourist attractions. We also did the Louvre, which I forgot about on the first day. We did a lot of the like typical tourist places, but we also did some other cool bits, and we fit a lot into 3 days, because a lot of people assume that with Paris, because there's so much to do and it's all quite far apart, that you need a long time, but you really don't. I think all I'm going to say is that if you wanted to do a lot of tourist attractions in a minimum days, like 3 days for example, you need to be kind of fit. You need to be willing and able to kind of walk around a lot, because it is a lot of walking and it's a lot of like tubes and hopping on and hopping off, and it's very busy. But it's so worth it, because once you do everything in one day, it's just a big sense of achievement. And sometimes some of the tourist attractions like the Eiffel Tower, there's just so many people that you physically don't want to be there for very long, because it's just so busy. But I'd really recommend doing the Eiffel Tower sunset to evening time, because it's the best time to go. I think if you do it during the day, it's great, but it's like you don't get the same view of Paris. But yeah, that is how we did Paris in 72 hours. Literally 72 hours is all we were there for. But I really hope you like this video, guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.